like an ordinary afternoon, a thriving Roman city of nearly 20,000 people had less than a day left to exist. No warning system, no evacuation plan, just a mountain they'd lived beside their entire lives. One they didn't realize was a volcano. This is the last day of Pompeii. Pompeii wasn't a small town. It was a wealthy, sophisticated Roman city near the Bay of Naples, home to elaborate villas, public baths, theaters, and a busy forum. Its economy ran on wine and olive oil, exported across the Roman world. 17 years earlier, in 62 AD, a major earthquake had damaged much of the city. Some buildings were still under repair when disaster struck again, this time for good. The mountain overlooking the city, Vesuvius, was covered in vineyards. To the people living there, it looked like any other mountain. They had no concept that it was a volcano at all. In the days before the eruption, the ground had been trembling. Small earthquakes weren't unusual in this region, so most residents simply ignored them. A normal part of life, they thought. What they didn't know was that magma was forcing its way upward, building pressure beneath the mountain. Then in the early afternoon, everything changed. A massive explosion tore through the summit of Vesuvius, launching a column of ash, pumice, and gas more than 30 kilometers into the sky, higher than any modern passenger jet flies today. Ash and pumice stones, some the size of a fist, began raining down on Pompeii. For the next several hours, this hail of volcanic debris didn't stop. Roofs started collapsing under the growing weight. Streets filled with layers of pumice, making escape harder by the hour. Some residents fled immediately, moving toward the coast in hopes of boats. Others sheltered indoors, believing it was safer to wait it out. Roman naval commander Pliny the Elder, stationed nearby, sailed toward the disaster to attempt a rescue, a decision that would ultimately cost him his life. His nephew, Pliny the Younger, stayed behind and later wrote the only surviving eyewitness account of the disaster in 2 detailed letters that historians still rely on today. By the early hours of the next day, the eruption entered its most lethal phase. The ash column collapsed on itself, sending pyroclastic surges, fast-moving clouds of superheated gas and debris, racing down the mountainside at speeds that gave people almost no chance to escape. Temperatures inside these surges have been estimated at well over 100 degrees Celsius. For anyone still in Pompeii, death likely came within seconds. The eruption is believed to have killed somewhere between 1,500 and 16,000 people across the region, though the exact number is still debated by historians. Nearby Herculaneum, closer to the volcano, was buried even deeper, under more than 20 meters of volcanic material. When it was over, Pompeii was buried under several meters of ash and pumice, and largely forgotten for over 1,500 years. But that same ash that destroyed the city also preserved it in extraordinary detail. Buildings, artwork, everyday objects, even the shapes of victims' final moments were captured, frozen in time. When excavations began in the 18th century, archaeologists uncovered something remarkable: a complete, untouched snapshot of daily Roman life, more detailed than almost any other archaeological site on Earth. Today, nearly 3 million people live in the shadow of Vesuvius, which remains an active volcano. Pompeii's story isn't just an ancient tragedy. It's a reminder of how fast an ordinary day can turn into history. If you want more deep dives like this, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what historical event you want covered next.